In 1485, Cortes was born into a poor family of lesser nobility in the Extremadura region of Spain. Now, because Cortes was poor, he knew that he would have to leave his homeland in order to seek the fame and fortune that most people dream about. Remember, around this time, stories of Columbus's fame and fortune was spreading all over the world. So being ambitious, Hernan Cortes decided to sail to the New World with other Spaniards. In 1504, Cortes landed in Hispaniola, the exact same land that Christopher Columbus stole from the Arawaks 12 years prior. At the age of 25, Cortes befriended a well-known conquistador by the name of Diego Velázquez de Cuellar. Now, if anyone remembers S's last video on Columbus, Diego Velázquez was one of Columbus's men who sailed to the New World alongside him. There, he became one of the founders of the Spanish colonial effort, sometime after Columbus left. Now, around this time, Cortes was just arriving in Hispaniola. At the same moment, Diego Velázquez was getting ready to conquer a new country for Spain. So seeing an opportunity for himself, Cortes joins Velázquez on his mission to conquer what is now modern-day Cuba. So in 1511, Velázquez, along with 300 other conquistadors armed with swords, shields, and cannons, invaded the nearby island of Cuba. So now I'm going to take the opportunity to read a passage from Bartolomé de las Casas, who was a witness to the atrocities of the Cubans from the Spanish colonizers.
The Spaniards with their horses, their spears, and their lances began to commit murders and other strange cruelties. They entered into towns and villages, sparing neither children nor old men and women. They ripped their bellies and cut them to pieces as if they had been slaughtering lambs in the field. They made bets with each other over who could thrust a sword into the middle of a man or who could cut off his head with one stroke. They took little ones by their heels and crushed their heads against the cliffs. Others they threw into the river, laughing and mocking them as they tumbled into the water. They put everyone they met to the edge of their sword. One time I saw 4 or 5 important native nobles roasted and broiled upon makeshift grills. They cried out pitifully. This thing so troubled our captain that he could not sleep. He commanded that they be strangled to end their misery. The sergeant would not strangle them, but put bullets into their mouth instead. I have seen all of these things and others infinite. Most tried to flee. They tried to hide in the mountains. They tried to flee from these men who were empty of all pity, behaving like savage beasts. They are nothing more than slaughterers and enemies of mankind. These evil men had even taught their hounds, fierce dogs, to tear natives to pieces at first sight.
Within a couple of years, Velázquez and his men slaughtered and enslaved all the inhabitants and established several settlements on the island, much like their predecessor Columbus. In 1511, Cuba was conquered. Velázquez became its first governor, and those who helped him in Cuba, including Cortes, were rewarded with land on the island. In addition, Velázquez made Cortes magistrate of Santiago. Now, as time passed, a strange story about a city of gold eventually made its way to Cuba. So, on behalf of the King of Spain, in 1518, Diego Velázquez sent an expedition from Cuba to what is now modern-day Mexico in order to investigate these stories. Now, when the leader of this expedition did not return on time, Velázquez began to panic and decided to send more men to investigate the missing crew. Without wasting any time, Velázquez decided to send Hernan Cortes as the leader and captain general of this rescue operation. Cortes swiftly lined up men, weapons, food, and financial backers. Cortes's orders were specific. He was to investigate the coastline, look for the missing expedition, make contact with any natives, and report back to Cuba. Nothing more and nothing less. Despite having his orders, Cortes had another plan in mind. You see, he saw Mexico as his ticket out of Cuba. He still had his dreams of fame, glory, power, things of his own. And he was fueled by the stories of the city of gold that were in Mexico. Now, as Cortes planned to set sail, word of what he was planning got back to Velázquez, who had hoped to remain in control of the expedition. An official messenger was sent to Cortes in order to let him know that the expedition has been canceled, and he was relieved of his command. Unfortunately for the messenger, Cortes had the messenger killed.